We originally looked at, or we're looking at sampling surveys. Obviously, bias data is always useless. We've looked at a little bit about bias, sample size, population parameters, simple random sample, which is one way to sample. We looked at how to select that. And so now we're moving into different types of sampling and then like an example of what that would look like. So let's see. Stratified sampling is next, or the first one of these, I guess. And so this is when there are distinct groups in our population that differ from each other first. We stratify into separate groups and use SRS, so simple random sampling, to pull samples from each strata. Now, I'm sure you understand exactly what that means.
Oh, yes.
No.
And one more thing, and then I'll explain a little bit more with an example of what that looks like. We can also use this method to make our sample proportionally representative of the population So example of this, if the population is 60% female and 40% male, we could randomly choose six females and 4 males to make our sample proportional to the population. So that would kind of be like breaking it down into, that's like we had groups, we broke it down into, you know, a smaller amount, and then we can simple random sample, basically pulling from that new group that we have. The next type is called cluster sampling. And I would say you need about the same amount of lines in case you were going to ask me. Cluster sampling is when there are defined groups in our population which are similar to each other we can randomly choose one or more of these clusters and take a census of each cluster. So for example, with this one, if I am checking quality of a product being manufactured instead of randomly choosing individual objects throughout the day, I can select several cases to inspect at the end of the day. And then within those cases, we would inspect every single one of them, obviously, because that's the whole point of a census, is we look at every single one. And then next is multi-stage sampling. And this combines one or more of the above methods. Okay, so SRS, stratified, or cluster, to form the sample. Most samples tend to be created in a multi-stage procedure. So with this one, first we would separate students by grade. Which would be to stratify. Then choose one quote-unquote pack from each grade. Okay, so kind of like a group. That would be cluster. And then choose 10 students at random from each pack. And that would be SRS. All right, now for a survey to be valid, it will give us the information we are seeking. From the population we are interested in. Your questions must be carefully worded to produce the data you need the best way to be sure you're asking the right questions is to run a pilot survey and analyze the results. Now, that's like an initial survey, not like, you know, an airline pilot. Probably figured that out, but just to make sure. And so the last thing in terms of notes that we have is sources and types of bias. So there's going to be 6 of those. And I'm going to explain each one. Now, bias is bad, obviously. So we want to avoid it as much as possible, or try to prevent it from happening. Oh my gosh. What is happening? Did I write that? Is it crooked?
Yeah, it's slanted.
Am I like, okay. Then I'm just going to do this and make it look normal. It was driving me crazy. I was like, what is happening? All right. So, the first one is voluntary response. So when you think of this one, think of American Idol. Or like a Dancing with the Stars type thing. Only the strongly motivated respond, especially negative, will not be represented. Well, representative. So obviously you can't really negatively vote on American Idol, at least the way I understand it. You're obviously only voting for who you want to win kind of thing. I'm assuming, I don't know. I'm a Dancing with the Stars person, not American Idol. But regardless, when you vote, okay, you're voting for who you want to win or who you want to, throw your votes to, whatever. But you can't really negatively respond. But let's say you go to Chick-fil-A and you get a survey on your receipt, right? If you had, if they didn't give you an incentive like a free chicken sandwich, you probably aren't going to answer unless you have a really bad experience, right? Or maybe if you have a great experience, you might. Or, if it's your brother, then maybe you will.
That song was terrible.
But you're only going to respond kind of if you really feel like a need to, not just, whatever. That's voluntary response. The next one, I'm just going to write these all in different colors because I can. Convenient sample.
Okay.
A convenient sample is to survey people that are easy to reach. And not like little kids.
That was the first thing that came to mind.
They're easy to reach. Not like, that guy that I saw that was like almost 7 feet tall in Kroger that one day. There was a guy I walked by, like the grocery cart, normally for me, my hands are like here on the cart.
Yeah.
His were all the way down and he was like struggling to reach the cart. That's how tall he was. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. This man was huge. I was like, hi. Didn't say hi, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I walked by and I was like, whoa.
I don't think it would be easy for
I
him to
wonder-
reach the children.
I wonder
Oh.
if people come up to him and say, "Do you play basketball?"
Have you seen
Like,
the
I would get
picture
so
of, like,
annoyed.
Shaq holding a Krispy Kreme donut with his team?
Yes.
So, for example, okay, because easy to reach, maybe you don't exactly understand what that means. This would be like people at malls,
Oh, they're easy to come in contact with.
internet survey,
Are you happy with your internet?
not like that.
Like a survey through.
I know what
internet.
it's like.
Oh, I said internet. I forgot the N.
Earlier I spelled survey with an A instead of E. It was sad.
Say okie dokie.
But he said it in such a sassy tone.
Okie dokie, like that. Like how was it? How? I don't.
Like, okie dokie. Like,
Dokie.
judgmental.
You don't can't.
I wouldn't know.
This one. I just closed my eyes and picked a color, so who knows what's gonna happen. I think it's like
closed
brown
her eyes.
orange. I don't know. The next one is
Okay, well, the world doesn't revolve around you. Okay,
Nathan's
so.
like a toddler.
under coverage.
Look at you.
Hey, Josh, what's wrong with him?
Nothing.
Can you give an
He is
example?
just a little short though.
Oh my gosh. Josh, that's just so mean. What if that was his last straw? Like, that was like.
Oh, well,
I'm just waiting for something to get chucked at Josh.
I'm not even short,
Well, I
statistically
have-
speaking.
Oh, we're in statistics.
Yeah.
Good one, Nathan. I guess.
All right, some portion of the population.
Okay. Did the thing again.
Is not catch up sampled or is lower than in the population.
I haven't been more population in a long time.
So for example, this would be like a phone survey. You know, like when they call you about your car's extended warranty. I'm just kidding.
It's not a
Um,
survey about your phone, Josh.
Okay, I knew what it
Are you
meant.
happy with your phone service with T-Mobile?
Well, I'm calling you on T-Mobile, so he is.
My carrier is Verizon.
Mine is also Verizon.
I have T-Mobile. I'm happy with my service in case anybody wanted to know.
Good.
I'm also happy. Well,
I'm kind of
my
not
Wi-Fi
happy
goes
with
in
it.
and out. Honestly,
I have. What do you have?
Verizon. Do
Yeah.
not have Sprint.
Verizon's.
I was like, Sprint is T-Mobile.
Well, I can't choose it.
So
I don't pay for the phone plan.
No, I'm just saying because I have Verizon too.
Oh,
phones are
okay.
so expensive. Like, appreciate your parents paying for your phone because it's crazy. When I got my first phone bill, I was like, what?
You're
How much was
joking.
You're
How much was
joking.
it?
It's over $100 a person
Per person.
Yeah.
for Kenny and I. Yeah.
My kids aren't getting.
Honestly, the more people you have, the cheaper it is.
With
In
some
a way.
with some companies.
Yes.
But that's because we're also paying for our phone. Like, we didn't buy our phone up front, so like we lease our phone.
Oh.
But once it's
Okay.
done,
Mine's
we own
paid
it.
off now.
But Yeah.
And it'll be less.
but still, it's over $100 a person.
Mine's
Yeah.
too.
And I was like, the first person is really expensive, then the second person's like $40. So I'm only $40. I'm just kidding. But it's crazy. Like, I feel like it's unnecessarily expensive.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a necessary thing.
And then Apple these days be selling the charger and
Separate?
separate.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one way to make profit.
It's insane.
Unnecessary way to make.
Also, I feel like
This
we
one.
Also, I feel like we should be
It's
able to
literally the same
charge-
thing. This one.
I feel like we should be able to charge our MacBooks with our iPhone chargers.
You
I
should.
really wish we could.
The new phones you can
Oh,
because
really?
they've gone to the same thing I've heard.
Well, I'm glad.
My iPad would charge a Mac
Oh, okay.
because it's the same thing, but it's a slower charger.
I'm switching to like USB-C now instead of. Like,
Yeah, yeah. All right, next one is bad sample frame. I guess maybe I should have actually explained phone survey since I said it's not, your service with T-Mobile. This is when they call you to figure out who you're going to vote for in the election, things like that.
I get
Like,
so many texts.
you answer the phone and then you hang up right away. But people that really care might actually talk to them one way or the other, but they're only calling certain people. The other thing is sometimes with undercoverage, we'll call this even when you go survey a neighborhood, because if you go to say where Peyton lives, you might get very different results than if you go to where Nathan lives, right? Just because it's a different area. Okay. I kind of sort of know where y'all live, but I do know where they live. So they live in two different areas, two different cities. What?
Are you whispering in his ear again? Stop it, you weirdo.
Okay,
Ew,
so
ew.
that would also be potentially an undercoverage if they just went to Peyton's neighborhood and not everyone else's.
Twist it.
Then
Josh, where do you live?
My hands are kind of clammy
Why
right
should
now.
I
so
tell
that
you?
won't work.
I know generally where he lives.
You know where everyone lives?
I don't know where he lives,
I know where you live.
but I've been to your house
Twist it.
I don't live that far from
Yeah, you have.
and I've been to her house.
Nobody can open my Sharpie.
I literally live
Do you need help?
right by Denby House.
I got it.
Okay, I was gonna get a tissue
Mine, it just
'cause
won't.
I know that when my hands aren't grippy,
Yay!
it sometimes helps to get something
I
else.
see.
But
Grimace.
I live near Brooke, who lives near
I-
Nathan,
I only
who
live
lives
near
near
Holly.
Jay.
By the commutative property. I
So you
live
just-
next to you.
so you just live
Transitive.
near everyone?
By the transit property.
Community property.
How many more of these
Are we
are
playing
there?
Monopoly?
She said there were 6.
Okay.
You have
3 more.
space.
I know, I'm just saying, what if she goes to like close her eyes and pick a random color and she totally misses all of them?
What do you mean? Wait, I
What does that
What?
do with anything we're
just
doing?
keep going.
I don't know.
I'm doing a simple random sample of colors. All right, a bad sample frame is individuals in the frame. Maybe different than those outside. So, for example, a DBCS high school student for all students.
Like each student
So,
gets
like,
a.
one
'Cause we're just
student- one
outliers.
student is representing the entire.
Well, or like, you know, let's say the senior class, you know, at Denby Baptist Christian School to represent all seniors in the entire area.
Oh.
That wouldn't be good. That's a bad sample frame.
Yeah, that'd be really bad because it would be.
You'd be better off to get like 2 seniors from every school, or, you know,
Yeah.
obviously we have a small school, so it's a little different, but, you know, maybe proportionately you would need to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you didn't even.
I missed.
Ew.
Ew.
It's just brown. I'm using the same color.
Yeah, ew.
Okay, that's similar to what I just had. I don't know.
Just go with the
I was
brown.
wrong.
Okay. Non-response.
That's correct. I'm a child for 13 more days.
Yes, do a bar.
Or-
Those who don't respond differ from those who do.
Will.
Wow.
I did not.
Stats out here mansplaining.
This could be like, you know, a mailer that gets sent out, and basically somebody's like, I'm going to respond or whatever, and then other people are like, yeah, I just don't feel like getting thrown in the trash. That's
oh,
me.
Like the, yeah.
Like this.
Because that's what?
Like
Yeah. That's true.
Just find some
I
ballots
used to
laying
think it was
around.
illegal to not vote. I used to think you would get arrested if you didn't vote.
What?
Really?
No, you're just not allowed to complain about anything because
Yeah, you have
you
no.
didn't do your
yeah,
part.
exactly. You have no right to complain.
All right, and the last one is a response bias. Which is when the survey is asked in such a way as to influence the response. This can be methodology or question format. So if I said something like, you don't really want to go to Texas Roadhouse, do you? I'm trying to get you to say what? No. Okay. I have worded that question in such a way that I'm trying to get you to say something specific because I really don't want to go to Texas Roadhouse, so I'm trying to get you to say you don't want to. Okay?
You could
What
never-
I should say instead is, do you want to go to Texas Roadhouse? Because that's not warranting a specific type of response.
Okay.
Okay, that gives you a true yes or no option instead of, not that you can't still say yes and override me when I say that, but I'm trying to push you to answer a certain way.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I definitely would still say yes. I want to go to Texas.
I mean, me too, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.